Three, two, one, and we are live. Ladies and gents, the name of the game is content creation. More, and better. Because how the heck do you stand out? If you want to be a thought leader, can't do this without sharing your thoughts. And the way to share your thoughts is obviously creating content. Now, the trick is, how do you actually make it compelling enough, unique enough, quality enough, so it pierces a hole through all it avalanche of noise out there. It stands out, grabs attention of your ideal potential clients, brings them to you, and actually compels them to continue paying attention to you and ideally to do business with you. Welcome to another episode of Revenue Rev Up TV, and I'm trying to remove myself from solo and get my team on a screen as well. Of course, that's today's topic. How do you create content? How do you make it compelling enough? And how do you leverage it to build your audience and bring in enough clients to your business consistently, systematically, if with relative ease? There we go. Michelle is already in multiple places at once, on screen and commenting. Of course, that is what happens when you have all-female team. They can multitask. I can't. So there we go. How about a quick round of intros? Adam Urbanski, also known as the Millionaire Marketing Mentor, the Hat Chief Troublemaker, and otherwise totally useless piece of this show. I'm here purely for my good looks and entertainment. I make those three laugh. All right. The rest of the gang are...
Okay, I'll go. Bo, the connector, and Adam, you're not the useless part of this show. It says mastermind on your shirt, so that's who you are. You claim your name and you live up to it. I am also known as the glue holding it all together, and that's me.
Sounds good.
I'm Lisa Benavides. I'm the enforcer of the team, mostly for our clients, but sometimes I gotta enforce our team a little bit too, I guess. And I'm the director of client success for the Marketing Mentors.
How lovely.
All right, I am Michelle Shaeffer, and I'm here as the coach part of the team, and yeah, excited for the episode today because this is a hot topic inside of all our programs, is the content marketing piece.
Wait, Michelle, are your earrings the American flag?
Yes.
Wow, nice.
Patriotic today.
Way to stand out. Great.
It also looks like you have a double M shadow light going on in the back of you. It looks like an MM for Marketing Mentors.
That is the ultimate in branding. But I want to make a comment on those earrings because, Michelle, you are an American citizen, right?
Yes, sir.
You do? Yes, sir. Wow, that was so military. You do know what the American flag looks like.
Yes.
So when someone, you keep doing this. So Bo asks for the American flag and you go like, yes. Or you're not sure what you're wearing or you're not sure what the flag looks like. Oh my God, it's so funny. Hey, let's do this really quick, ladies and gents. I've got some things to call your attention to, which is obviously today, thing number one, we're talking about how to create content and leverage it to attract enough clients. Very importantly, if you are watching this show live, we love to hear from you with comments that you get to share your ahas. And any one of you wants to wave this book? Anybody else has this?
Sure.
There we go. At least Bo has it. The two girls have them in the bathroom, the appropriate place for this book. Fastest path to cash. The only way to get a copy of this priceless printed book is to actually participate in the show. Share your gold ahas with a hashtag gold, right? So if you happen to catch any brilliant takeaways from the show, which is, of course, highly, highly doubtful, go ahead and comment gold. Michelle, what are you doing with this?
There will be great takeaways in this show.
Well, actually, it's not totally useless. We definitely provide marginally. Wait a second. What is it? Like marginally helpful marketing advice and questionable entertainment value. I think that's our tagline here.
That's about it.
Did I get that right? All right. What's another thing? If you want to get a semi-helpful report from us on getting more clients and more cash fast, go ahead and comment rapid. And finally, if you want us to help you accelerate your business in as little as 12 weeks, go ahead and comment Rev up, and we'll hook you up with some good info on that. Obviously, there's no pressure, except for we find out where you live and send a squad to extract your credit card from you. Other than that, no worries. All right. So we've got a couple of things. Ladies, who won the book from last week?
Leslie Brown. Leslie Brown is our winner from last week.